Hi guys, this is a video I never expected to have to make. I don't want to make it now, but I better make it sooner rather than later. You see, this is a feeding tube. You've heard of people on feeding tubes. This goes right into my stomach, and those marks right there are guides that the oncologist people use to give me radiation therapy. I'm also undergoing chemotherapy at I've got cancer, and it's not good. This is my esophagus. It started as esophageal cancer. That tumor has the largest, rapidly growing tumor has reached my stomach wall now, and it is in my diaphragm, and it metastasized into my liver in a big way. And my liver is kind of full of tumors that are malignant that show up glowing on a PET scan. And I'm getting sicker and sicker as each week goes by. And this I'd love to say that it's the chemotherapy and the radiation therapy that is caused me to be sick, but that's not all of it. Some of it is the cancer. And the next thing we expect is, if it metastasizes further, it's going to go to my lungs and then possibly to my bones and into my brain. I have a YouTube channel, and it's a little difficult to find. If you search for Michael May, you'll never find it because there are a lot of Michael Mays. Search for Michael May Christian LGBTQ, and I'll pop right up to the top. And I have 213 videos, 214 now videos on this channel. I've been working on it for a couple of years. Several of the A lot of you are listening to this on TikTok, and some of my videos I have migrated to TikTok, but not all of them. And they're all about the same topic. They're all about dealing with the fact that even though I am a Christian, I am not a hateful Christian. I am You're going to find a lot of Christians that don't they won't talk to you about Jesus. They don't want to talk about Jesus. They'll talk about God. They'll talk about the Old Testament. They'll talk about ancient Jewish law. And as soon as you start trying to turn the conversation to Jesus, they don't like it. I have actually told a couple of them in conversation. I said, say something about Jesus. Say something about Jesus. And 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 generally the answer is something along the lines of, Jesus is God. God is Jesus. I don't have to talk about Jesus. I can talk about God. And then they slip back into what they have been taught in churches, that's based upon tradition, that if you're gay, you're not saved. Okay, because if you were saved, you would not be gay. And it's not it's a choice. It's nothing it's nothing that you excuse me. It's nothing that you Anyway, I'm drifting, and I'm sorry about that. They don't want to talk about Jesus. They don't want to talk about the love of Jesus. They don't want to talk. Jesus was asked, what are of the Ten Commandments? What's the most important commandment? And Jesus said, all of the law and the prophets. By this he meant the entire Old Testament hangs on only two commandments. He said, love God and love your neighbor. And people will say that the Christian traditionally will say that I do love gay people. I do love transgender people. I do not know what intersex people are, so I don't think they exist. But I do love, and you've got to if you want to love someone who is on the path to destruction, you've got to tackle them. They don't tackle anybody else who is on the path to destruction, namely them. They don't see the need. They're tackling people who I have proven in my other videos in detailed, especially on YouTube. There's a lot there that being gay, living gay, being transgender, living transgender anywhere along the spectrum of LGBTQIA plus that anywhere along the spectrum of gender, sex presentation, preference is not a sin, and you're not going to hell. In fact, nobody is going to burn in hell except Satan, the false prophet, the beast, and those who worship the beast. Do you worship the beast? Eventually, that you do not. You're not going to hell. You need to live your life, and you need to enjoy it, guys. This is running long, and I mainly wanted it to be a message. In case this is my last video, I wanted you to know what happened to me. I hope it's not my last video, but if it is, love you guys.